lot of time when you don't know church business, you'll take it negative. What he was really telling them, hey, y'all close the doors. And you got to be real. I'm not saying this is the fact, why he said it. I don't know what was in his mind, but he said shut the doors. People rob churches too.
Real life.
It ain't real life. Just ain't real life street stars. You know what time it is.
But when I realized how the enemy works, he uses man, he uses all kind of things to get you not to be blessed. Tithing is to bless you. You feel like you're losing when you give your 10%, or you feel like somebody taking something from you, but it's all God's money. And so he just asked for 10%. Why? That his church may continue to function, where people can have a place to come in and worship. How the church can be able to function. The Bible said money answer all things, but I don't understand when it comes down to the church, tithing is a problem. And then you got a lot of these churches that's mega, who for many years, it's a pastor, I think Cliff O'Donnell, he was talking about tithing was wrong or something. And by him making that statement, a whole lot of people couldn't wait to hear that. Now they decide, I don't want to give tithes. I want to rob. I'm going to keep all God's money. Or they say I tithe in the streets, but it's just a way of you disobeying God, and God can't give you the blessing that he want to give you, the favor. God reigns on the just and unjust, but the favor of God, it's beyond money. It's beyond, money can't buy the favor of God. Money can't keep you from dying. Money can't heal you. Money can't keep you from certain things that could have came against your house, but God can't.
Do you feel the government should basically, like you mentioned, the lights, the building, the cars, should churches even have to pay for that? Should it be like not only tax exempt, but technically if this building's being purchased, if it's a pastor, maybe a pastor has to go through an ordained.
Man.
Should the government step in and say, no, if you're a church, things are free?
Well, no, they ain't going to do that. Oh, no. Everybody ain't Christian. You got different religions. Man, the government, then if the government does that, he's going to want to control it. Then he's going to tell you, you're going to have to marry same-sex marriage. You got to do this. You got to do it. You can't preach about this. And so that's why the government and church and the government is two separate things. I thank God for that, because then you're controlled by the government, and you don't want that, even though you might need their help. There's a lot of churches struggling, but let's be real about it, Joker. A lot of mega churches can help other churches, but churches done got to the point to where they don't care how big, they want their church to get bigger, bigger, and bigger. Even Moses, when he brought the children out of Egypt, his father-in-law had to come to him, and he had to put other men over certain people. He had to divide the people to certain Levites or priests. Moses couldn't do it all by himself. But now we got people, man, they don't care if they got 80,000 members. Instead of them make it where it's possible for the shepherd to reach certain people. One man can only do so much, but we are so for the greed. We're so for the, it's about us. We done made ministry bad, man. It's crazy, man. And I'm not against mega churches. I just think that a certain capacity, you need to put other people in place, because you could die, or you should open up other location to help the church to be able to know their pastor, reach their pastor, and not look like we just trying to outdo one another, or make the church look like it's about me.
I like that.
Of the people.
So let's speak on Marvin Sapp. He's going viral right now for wanting to close the doors and make sure. And again, I want to speak on it correctly, because they said that he said lock the doors, but he did say close the doors. And he said there's 10,000 people online, or 1,000 people. There's 1,000 people in the church. if everybody just throws up $10, they could get a certain amount. He was trying to get to, I think, like 20,000 or so. 40,000. And everybody just throw out $20, they could probably make that happen. Give me a take on Marvin Sapp's what's going on with him. And also, if you know the man.
I know Marvin Sap. Marvin Sap came and preached for me 2 times. But let me say this here about the church world. A lot of people, want to speak on the church and don't know the system of the church. And so anytime a preacher doing anything that the enemy can use to draw us away from the church or give us an excuse to justify why we don't do what the Bible asks us to do. First of all, he was not at his church. He was at a conference. And so at a conference, it costs money to rent these buildings. It's called money to bring in these speakers and all these different people who come to make the conference do what it do. And so a lot of time when you don't know church business, you'll take it negative. What he was really telling them, hey, y'all close the doors. And you got to be real. I'm not saying this is the fact why he said it. I don't know what was in his mind, but he said shut the doors. People rob churches too. Don't think you ever seen Ice Cube, the movie by Ice Cube where they robbed the church.
Oh, yeah. No, got the name of it. But yeah, him and Mike Epps.
Yeah, him and Mike Epps. And so that didn't just come because somebody thought of it. People actually rob churches. But my thing is, I think that he was really just trying to raise the offering to get the necessity, what they need. So when people moving around and all that, he even said himself, he made it sound a little assertive or too strong in raising the offering, and he apologized for that. Because the Bible says if it offends somebody, we should ask for forgiveness if offend a brother. But he meant no harm. Anybody that been in church, but then you got some of these pastors that be hating, and they're a pastor. We shouldn't even come against each other. And they want to use that, to try to make them look like, they so righteous. It take money to do all things. Even Jenny, I got to say, he was talking about how these pastors raised money, and he raised money. I went to his conference in Dallas, and they raised money. The way they did it made it be a little different, but they asked for money, they passed out envelopes. You know what I'm saying? What's the difference? Passing out envelopes or asking across the the mic. And so it's a attack on the church. It ain't about Marvin Sapp. It's about how the enemy trying to make the church look bad. And so, but Marvin Sapp didn't mean no harm. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gonna voice their opinion about everything. People can take one little statement you make and build it up and try to make you look bad. But I was Marvin Sapp. I'm just being honest. Man, you ain't got to explain nothing to nobody. I think that when we talk about it more, you give it more life to it. You give more fire to the situation. But, it is what it is. And maybe he said, let me go out and explain myself, what I meant and my intention. Regardless of what you say, this is what people got to understand. People still going to have that perception after you done said what you said. Some of them going to even say you trying to justify yourself. And we know that that's what you wasn't doing. Now, somebody say, okay, what about the guys that's about the $100? He told them, the pastor, give them $100. If you're going to set up here, some people say you set up here, you got to give. I don't agree with that. But at the same time, as pastor, if you already know what the situation is, you should be willing to give more if you can, not just for the pastor, anybody. He was just trying to be easy on the people. And so when he told the pastor, he felt like they should understand, because as a pastor, we know it take money to do anything, and so he asked them to give 100, and some people looking like, okay, man, he told them put their 20 up, regardless of what you say or how you try to do it. When no preachers like to raise money, because we all I don't even like doing tithe. I wish I was rich. I wish that somebody would give me some money to take care of, to buy God's church and build a house for God. I ain't got to raise no offering or none of that. I just want to preach the gospel, but it ain't like that, because the first thing people gonna judge you, especially a guy like me come from the streets. You know what I'm saying? And I thank God I got my own business, because the church, I never got a salary. I never took a salary, and so I give more money to my church than my own house, that it may function. We got a band, we got a guitar player, we got a drummer, we got an organ player. Organ player get more money than I get in a 1 week than I done got since I've been preaching over 24 years. And so they're giving money towards these guys, but when a preacher do something, they want to crucify him. Y'all play too much.
Well, so I guess the question, the people be seeking understanding. And, this is the conversation we're having. So they're having a conference. Of course, Marvin Sapp is invited. I'm sure that he has a fee that he has to come out and speak. Before, whether a conference or any type of service that's about to be offered, does the ministry team have an idea of an amount that they want to get to?
Yes, it depends on what the cost of the conference or the building they using. I remember we was doing a conference, one of my minister ladies, and it cost her $15,000 just to rent a hotel. And when she raised her offering, because we try to worry about what people are going to think, she went honored. She went so honored to where she had to get money somewhere else to replace the money that she borrowed to do the conference. So if you never been in that shoe, I used to do major conference. I had Juanita Bynum, I had Rita Triggs, I had Marvin Sapp, I called in Donna McKirkin. All these folks done preached for me. And so, but it costs, it wasn't, no. I don't believe in unaware. Let's keep it real. Let's get real. But some people, if you're going to bring them in and people going to come see them, it's not necessary that some of the money they ask for, I don't believe in that. I'm going to keep it real. But this is their way of life, and I think it's a balance to it. I think that if you're going to bring in somebody that is popular, let's say that, and y'all raise 40, 50,000, it is right you accommodate, because if it wasn't for him, the people wouldn't have came. And so I don't think that we should use the gospel as a self-gain, but at the same time, I don't think you should charge people for the gospel too. So it's where you look at it. I never seen unaware in the Bible. I never seen it cost 10,000 for me to come. I'll never be like that. I don't never want to be like, I don't never want to be a preacher that charges for, I don't charge, anybody that know Bishop Eli, I don't charge for wedding, I don't charge for marriage, I don't charge for counseling, I don't charge for nothing. The Bible said free to give, free to give it, free that we should give. And so anybody can tell you, I never believe in that. But my thing is that I don't knock other pastors. I don't want to get it twisted, but I never seen an unaware. People get love offering, but I don't want what God have to say through me, let money get in the way for me to reach the people. And now, even singers now, people used to sing because they love God. Now they got a dollar bill. I'm talking about gospel people that supposed to sing for, you got to pay them. We got to be careful. The Bible said love of money is the root of all evil. So we got to watch that, because sometimes we can get so famous and we get caught up in the hype and the light. And so we got to be careful. I just want to be simple.
So I guess the question in that is, should a pastor or a preacher who's preaching the gospel, should he be worried about the math, doing the math and the head count? Or should that be someone else? Because I think Marvin Sapp stepped in for the pastor to do the head count. Should the pastor be doing math while he's worried about the
business, church is a business too. I think that the pastor might didn't know what he was doing or was afraid. I'm telling y'all, when you come down to raising the offering, people get nervous because they don't want you thinking that that's why you're here. You're here to get their money. We already know we're in a social media condemning, cutthroat. Anything you do, anything you say, they're going to use it against you. So Marvin Sapp took a risk, you know what I'm saying? He counted and see how many people was. He tried to do the math. If we got 1,000 people give $20, something small, it can be 20,000. You see what I'm saying? If we got 5,000 people here, we trying to meet the budget of the conference. And so people don't understand that, and so they condemn that, but you're not in the shoes. I promise you, I know Marvin Sap. He did not want to raise that offering. I done had him come preach for me, and I went on it. 2 times he came to me, what I had to give him, I did not get that back. What I had to pay to use the building and get the security, I did not even get it back. I went under. So I know he don't like the way it off. He usually just do it simple. And so even me, I got to make wise decisions. A person like Marvin Sap, should I bring him in and he don't raise the offering, which I had to put my money in to give you people what y'all wanted, and then I have to take a risk and say, God bless. That's not a wise steward. And they say, well, God bless you. I've been there. I've been at conference where we done borrowed money, took out loan, did a conference, and me and my wife, we sitting at the hotel crying. We wonder how we gonna take care of, ooh, we didn't pay the church note. Ooh, we didn't take care of this. That's not a wise steward. And so sometimes you have to let the speaker know, hey man, here's the cost. Here's what we need. I know you came here, but we got to raise this off, or somebody got to pay for it. You just can't go to the hotel and the people say, hey man, we didn't raise the money. No, nobody didn't give. No $1 million man came through there and bless us. It doesn't work like that.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, man. And God bless Marvin Sapp, in all his endeavors. Hopefully one day he comes sit on the couch. Marvin,
yeah, we'll get Marvin Sapp.
Marvin, come on, tell your story right here, man.
Tell your story, man. Let us know, the mindset of the church. Yeah, we need you to come. And then this broadcast, it reaches everybody. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to just limit to the church. We want the world, because the world going to be the one that condemn you anyway. It's something to know good church folk. They going to condemn you too, so.
Shout out Reallyfe Street Starz, nigga. Move. Hey.